Picture this: a small settlement on the banks of the Tiber River, founded, as legend has it, by the twin brothers Romulus and Remus in 753 BCE. This humble beginning marked the birth of Rome, a civilization that would one day rule the known world. From these mythical origins, Rome grew, first as a kingdom, and then, in 509 BCE, it threw off its kings and established a republic. This new form of government, guided by the Senate and the people of Rome, was built on ideals of duty, law, and civic virtue. Driven by ambition and a formidable military machine, the Roman Republic began to expand. Legion by legion, conquest by conquest, it brought the entire Italian peninsula under its control. Wars with Carthage, the Punic Wars, saw Rome project its power across the Mediterranean, gaining Sicily, Spain, and North Africa. The legions marched into Greece, the cradle of Western philosophy, and then into Gaul under the brilliant and ruthless general Julius Caesar. Rome was no longer just a city. It was a sprawling, multicultural powerhouse, absorbing cultures and peoples into its ever-growing domain. But this rapid expansion came at a cost. The Republic's institutions, designed for a city-state, strained under the weight of an empire. Decades of civil war, political corruption, and social unrest tore at the fabric of Roman society. Powerful generals with loyal armies, men like Marius, Sulla, Pompey, and of course, Julius Caesar, vied for ultimate control. Caesar's ambition ultimately led to his assassination, plunging Rome back into chaos. From the ashes of this conflict rose one man, Octavian, Caesar's adopted son. After defeating his rivals, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Octavian masterfully consolidated power. While claiming to restore the Republic, he became Rome's first emperor. Taking the name Augustus in 27 BCE, this marked the end of the Roman Republic and the dawn of the Roman Empire. The reign of Augustus ushered in an unprecedented era of peace and prosperity, known as the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. For over 2 centuries, the empire flourished. It stretched from the misty shores of Britain to the deserts of Mesopotamia, from the Rhine River in Germany to the sands of Egypt. A staggering 50 million people lived under Roman rule, connected by an incredible network of over 50,000 miles of stone-paved roads. The saying, "all roads lead to Rome," wasn't just a metaphor, it was a reality. This was the Golden Age. Roman engineering reached its zenith. Colossal aqueducts, marvels of design, carried fresh water for hundreds of miles to bustling cities, feeding public baths and ornate fountains. Grand amphitheaters like the Colosseum hosted spectacular games, while magnificent temples and forums dominated the urban landscape. Roman law provided a unified legal framework across the provinces, and a common currency facilitated trade on a scale never seen before. The Roman legions, the most disciplined and effective fighting force of the ancient world, stood guard at the frontiers, ensuring the peace and stability that allowed this vibrant civilization to thrive. But no golden age lasts forever. By the 3rd century CE, the immense empire began to show cracks. The Pax Romana was over, replaced by a period of intense crisis. The empire faced constant threats from barbarian tribes along its northern borders and a resurgent Persian Empire in the east. Internally, it was plagued by civil war, with a dizzying succession of barracks emperors rising and falling, often murdered by their own troops. Runaway inflation crippled the economy. Disease swept through the population, and the sheer size of the empire made it nearly ungovernable. Faced with total collapse, a strong-willed emperor named Diocletian took drastic measures. In 285 CE, he realized that the empire was too vast and its problems too complex for one man to handle alone. His solution was radical. He divided the empire into 2 halves, an eastern and a western part, each to be governed by a separate emperor. He took the wealthier, more stable east for himself and appointed a co-emperor, Maximian, to rule the West. This was meant to be a temporary administrative solution, but it set the two halves of the Roman world on fundamentally different paths. Over the next century, this division became more pronounced. The Eastern Empire, with its capital eventually established at Constantinople by Emperor Constantine, grew richer and more urbanized. It was a hub of trade and culture, speaking primarily Greek. The Western Empire, with its capital shifting from Rome to Milan and then Ravenna, became progressively poorer, more rural, and more reliant on a fragile agricultural economy. It continued to speak Latin, but it struggled to fund its armies and maintain its vast infrastructure. The cultural, economic, and political gulf between East and West widened, transforming them into two distinct worlds. The fate of the Western Roman Empire was sealed in the 5th century. Decades of internal decay had weakened it from within. Its political institutions were hollowed out, its economy was in shambles, and its military was stretched thin, increasingly relying on barbarian mercenaries of questionable loyalty. This internal weakness made it fatally vulnerable to external pressures. Waves of Germanic tribes, the Goths, Vandals, and Franks, pushed across the frontiers, not always as invaders, but as migrants fleeing even fiercer warriors from the east, like the Huns. These migrations turned into full-scale invasions. In 410 CE, the Visigoths accomplished the unthinkable. They sacked the city of Rome, an event that sent shockwaves across the Mediterranean. While the city recovered, the empire's authority crumbled. Provinces were lost, and barbarian kingdoms were established on former Roman soil. The final, symbolic blow came in 476 CE, when the last Western Roman emperor, a young boy, ironically named Romulus Augustus, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. He didn't even bother to name a successor. The Western Roman Empire had fallen. But this was not the end of Rome's story. While the West disintegrated into a patchwork of kingdoms, the Eastern Roman Empire, which we now call the Byzantine Empire, not only survived, but thrived. With its magnificent capital at Constantinople, it preserved Roman law, Christian tradition, and Greek culture for another 1,000 years, acting as a vital shield for Europe and a beacon of civilization through the Dark Ages. The legacy of Rome is all around us. It's in our languages, our legal systems, our architecture, and our ideas of government. From a small village on the Tiber to a world-spanning empire, the story of Rome is a timeless epic of ambition, conquest, ingenuity, and collapse. It reminds us that even the mightiest empires are not eternal, but their legacy can shape the world for millennia to come. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey through Roman history as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. See you next time.